Make your case for the chief residency. You were pregnant. Do you want us to bring in your mom?
I just went my dad.
What's going on with my daughter?
Legally, we just can't disclose that right now.
What's wrong with her?
She could die.
Dr. Larson, you play by your own rules. I think we might need some space.
Doc, all new next Tuesday on Fox.
Welcome to the finale. I'm not going to cry. $200,000 is on the line.
The Fear Factor House of Fear season finale tomorrow on Fox. Now, your primetime local news leader. Fox 22 News at 10.
June primaries are creeping closer, with multiple candidates chasing Maine's gubernatorial seat. A debate tonight let Republican hopefuls make their voices heard on a variety of issues. Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Beth Jones. Here is some of what we heard from their opening statements tonight.
I believe that I am the candidate of choice and that I absolutely can win this primary, and that we as a Republican Party can win the general election.
I'm going to be reporting to you. I've never run as a clean elections candidate, always a traditional candidate as a legislator, and I've been a senator 4 times and I've been a representative twice.
One of the things I've focused on in my entire career that's made me really one of the most successful operators in the industry that I work in is my ability to work with people.
You know, I'm a guy that started from scratch. I'm the guy that, you know, when I got out of high school, started my own company. So I am a true conservative. I am the only Trump guy in the race.
Look up Owen online and what it means warrior. And while I might seem nice and I might seem kind, I have fought for everything that I've ever gotten.
I never expected to run for governor, never thought of it. And at the end of the day, I looked around and I thought, oh my God, the state I came back to is not the state that I left. And I realized I've got the tools. I've managed billions of dollars. I have been a crime fighter all my life.
So the fact that I'm a convert on the policies that have made Donald Trump effective and still have chosen other Republicans in other primaries over the years, I think it's the perfect combination to win this general election.
So when you're elected governor, the person that you're lobbying for is for the state of Maine, and I've always taken that responsibility very seriously. I've always advocated for the Maine taxpayer, and I'll continue to do that as governor.
In other news tonight, a Medford man is in critical condition after being hit by a passing vehicle on I-95 while assisting a fellow motorist. According to Maine State Police, Monday night around 7 o'clock, troopers responded to a crash near mile marker 189 on I-95 North in Vesey. They say their initial investigation indicates that an 18-year-old motorist had lost control in the snowy conditions and stopped on the median. She had exited her vehicle and was standing behind the guardrail when a 54-year-old Medford man stopped to help and was also standing with her behind the guardrail. Maine State Police say they were struck by a passing vehicle operated by a 19-year-old female from Old Town who had also lost control in the snowy conditions. Both were thrown down the embankment. The female sustained minor injuries, but the man was seriously hurt and remains in critical condition. Police say preliminary information suggests the man may have attempted to shield the young driver at the time of the crash. The investigation is ongoing. Well, 2 people are displaced tonight after a fire tore through a house on Wiswell Road in Brewer last night. Just before 8:30, first responders were dispatched to the scene. Officials say when they arrived, they found the single-family home fully involved. The fire was quickly upgraded to a second alarm, triggering mutual aid from neighboring departments. Officials say residents were not home at the time and no one on scene was injured. Brewer fire officials say the age of the home and weather conditions posed challenges.
The biggest challenge for us was getting there. We didn't experience any major delays, but it just started snowing. The roads were extremely icy. That did slow some, especially our mutual aid responses.
Crews remained on scene until around 4 o'clock this morning. The state fire marshal's office is investigating. There's no word yet on a cause. Looking briefly to our south, the Maine Warden Service is looking for the person or persons who rode a snowmobile through Dayton Tree Nursery, doing tens of thousands of dollars in damage. The Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife says at some point between Thursday, February 26th and Saturday, February 28th, someone took a snowmobile and rode through a roped-off area at Pearson Nurseries in Dayton, running over and damaging numerous small trees and saplings, causing an estimated $21,000 worth of damage. A total reward of $2,000 is being offered for information leading to the arrest of the person responsible. Anyone with information is asked to call Maine Warden Service Dispatch or contact Maine Operation Game Thief at 1-800-ALERT-US. You can also go through their website at mainogt.org. Well, a measure designed to increase electricity affordability and utility accountability is now law. Governor Janet Mills signed LD 1949, an act regarding energy fairness. It makes two important changes to the Public Utilities Commission rules. The first will require the PUC to consider affordability for customers as a central concern in their rate-making process and establish an affordability metric. The PUC will also be required to make widely available and accessible to the public credit and collections data from Central Maine Power and Versant, including customer disconnections and more. Maine Conservation Voters Legislative Director Sarah Woodbury says, quote, "This bill puts the concerns and budgets of Maine households in the center of the conversation for regulators when it comes to deciding our electricity rates," end quote. An effort is underway to help a Maine State Trooper and his family who lost everything in a fire. It happened in the Bangor area on March 19th. Corporal Greg Ramp, who you see right there, his wife Natasha, their two children, and all of their pets, including his canine partner Murph, made it out safely. However, they are now starting over with nothing. Greg has served with Maine State Police since 2019. He's been a canine handler since 2022. The Trooper Black Foundation is a registered 501c3. It is collecting donations, and 100% of the contributions through April 19th will go directly to the Ramp family. You can donate online at trooperblackfoundation.org. Well, tonight, residents of Southwest Harbor went to the polls to vote on whether to fund two infrastructure projects in the town, overhauling their public works garage and a shoreline rehabilitation project to repair storm damage from 2024. According to MDIslander.com, voters must approve $608,000 in funding from the town. The rest of the price tag would come from a congressionally directed spending grant. Well, we just learned earlier this evening that residents voted overwhelmingly in favor of both projects. Voters said yes 204 to 51 in favor of the Public Works Garage project and 210 to 46 in favor of the storm damage repair project. Meanwhile, a multi-million-dollar project aimed at replacing two aging facilities in Bangor has hit another roadblock. Last night, city councilors said no to putting the question to voters, at least for now. Our Alex Schley has more on why officials say they don't support the current proposal, but they do support the project.
During Monday night's city council meeting, Bangor officials once again voted down a proposal to put a referendum question on the upcoming election ballot that would ask voters to approve a bond to fund a new Parks and Rec facility.
My no vote isn't a vote to kill the project, it's a vote to let's explore how to get this done without 100% paid for by bonds.
The proposed $75 million project would replace the current rec center and Sawyer Arena, putting both facilities under one roof. It would also house the Parks Department and School Department's maintenance division, as well as the city's public health and community service departments.
Sawyer Arena is on borrowed time. The Park and Rec Center is an old armory, not designed for what we're using it for, never has been.
Well, council members agree both facilities need to be replaced. Many say they do not want the full cost to fall on taxpayers.
So instead of, hey, city, you take on all of the taxpayer responsibility, we become part of a funding stack of, hey, can you help us with the last $3 million or $2 million and get us across the finish line?
Officials say while it's still unclear how the project will be funded, they are working to move it forward.
For my part, it's really going to be pressing upon giving the staff the instruction to go out and help form these partnerships with the community. There's a lot of excitement out there to get this built. Let's capitalize on that and get this built without having to put 100% of the burden on taxpayers.
While the referendum will not appear on June's ballot, officials say it could still go before voters in November. In Bangor, Alex Schley for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
More than 60 employers gathered in Augusta today for a workforce event. The University of Maine at Augusta held its 4th annual Job and Resource Fair. Organizers say it's a regional response to the workforce challenges currently facing Central Maine. Employers at the event came from a wide range of occupations, including healthcare, law enforcement, and construction.
Majority of our employers here today are from the mental health field, but there's a hiring need across the whole board. So it's a great opportunity for people to get the word out, for employers to get the word out, and for the community and our students and alumni to learn what's out there.
Brown says this was the largest job and resource fair in the event's 4-year history. And let's pause now for our first check of our forecast.
Thank you, Beth. We saw temperatures in the upper 30s for today with those partly cloudy skies. 38 here in Bangor, same for Bar Harbor. A few areas in the low to mid 40s as you see down near Portland and Sanford. While temperatures pretty similar to here in Bangor as you see in Presque Isle and Holton in the upper 30s as well for today. While Greenville, being the cool kids in town, hung around freezing for today. But into tonight, we can see a few light snow showers passing just to the east of Bangor into the Machias region shortly after midnight into the 1 a.m. hour. As we continue on, you'll still see some few clouds pass on by, but looking to stay dry. As we head into tomorrow, you'll see plenty of sunshine until we get into the evening hours. We'll see more increasing clouds and have more chances for rain and snow for tomorrow night. So for tonight, maybe a few flurries out there, otherwise staying dry and those lows falling down into the mid-20s for tonight. Beth?
Chase, thank you. Still to come on Fox 22 News at 10, students at Kennebec Valley Community College got a chance to demonstrate what they've learned in the classroom, so to speak. And one Machias student is going to the National Spelling Bee come May. Those stories and more local news when we come back.
Dreaming of a new garage or custom build? Patriot Landscaping and Construction delivers from frame to finish. Expert craftsmanship, durable designs, and quality you can trust, we get it done right. Call Patriot Landscaping and Construction today. Let's build your future together.
A few weeks ago, I went down to the basement to see what was happening with the boilers and opened the door, and there was about 12 to 14 inches of water in our basement. I knew who to call right away, and that was Bouchard. They were here within a half hour. They work well with our insurance company. They're very, very efficient, and all I have to do is call them any time of day. They're going to take care of me. Our business is our life, and that's why I don't hesitate to recommend them to other people.
Lights, camera, cheese! The Cheese House is looking for its next star, and it could be you. If you're 21 or older, enter for your chance to appear in the next commercial. Stop by the Cheese House at 5 Pike Drive in Fairfield to enter. While you're there, browse their huge selection of glassware and 420 specialty foods. But we have the cheese! Remember, entries are happening in person at the Cheese House, 5 Pike Drive in Fairfield. Bring your personality, bring your smile, and we have the cheese!
When the morning light hits Maine, start your day with a good morning, Maine. Craig Colson, Janessa Bishop, by your side, bringing the stories that matter statewide. Local news and the forecast ahead, wake up informed, ready to go on ABC 7 and Fox 22.
Dreaming of a new garage or custom build? Patriot Landscaping and Construction delivers from frame to finish. Expert craftsmanship, durable designs, and quality you can trust, we get it done right. Call Patriot Landscaping and Construction today. Let's build your future together.
Usually construction companies tend to compete against each other to get jobs, but that's not always the case. They are now joining forces with Kennebec Valley Community College to tackle Maine's shortfall of skilled heavy equipment operators. Industry, workforce, and education leaders are putting participants through their paces in a 6-week training program that teaches them about everything from safety to moving equipment to putting piping in the ground.
It's hard to take them out and plug in somebody who has that interest because you lose all that efficiency when you do that. And so here we don't have those constraints. We're able to provide a good training. They're able to make boo-boos. They're able to kind of learn from mistakes they make here.
Officials say students in the class are mostly workers with some experience who are looking to advance in their job to better paying positions at the same employer. Well, an 8th grader from Machias will head to the National Script Spelling Bee after winning the state championship this past weekend. 13-year-old Tristan Singh is a student at Rose M. Gaffney Elementary in Machias. He won the Maine State Spelling Bee this past Saturday at Bowdoin College after lasting long enough to be one of the final 2 contestants and then correctly spelling the word stratosphere to clinch the title. Tristan has been competing in other academic areas, including history, geography, and science, since he was in the 5th grade. And when we asked him about his competing, you could definitely see the smile on his face. He says he's very much looking forward to competing at nationals.
Wing is really cool, and I'm really excited to see how good of a speller I am compared to all of those other winners.
Tristan will celebrate his 14th birthday just a couple of weeks before that national competition in May, so we wish him happy birthday in advance and best of luck at nationals. Coming up on the 10 p.m. news on Fox 22, Mark Wayne Mullen will leave the Department of Homeland Security after he is sworn in during a ceremony in the Oval Office. And the NTSB says a critical runway warning system failed to sound moments before a fire truck collided with an Air Canada jet. All those stories and more as the 10 p.m. news on Fox 22 continues.
From the heart of Maine, where rugged beauty meets timeless craftsmanship, Richard Henderson & Sons Masonry, taming the outdoors through groundwork, retaining walls and seawalls, building custom fireplaces that become the centerpiece of your home, crafting granite steps and patios that invite you outdoors, designing hardscapes that turn yards into living spaces, built to last, crafted for life. Richard Henderson & Sons Masonry, quality in every stone.
I'm Barry Higgins from Maple Lane Farm. We have our own beef herd here. We're on about 800 head, and it's raised right here on the farm. And we go direct to the consumer. No middleman, all natural, good old-fashioned Maine beef. Our quality is unbeatable. We have specials on Facebook every week. We guarantee our product 100%, whether it be beef, pork, or chicken. And we have a small selection of lamb also.
Maple Lane Farm, a candy store for a carnivore.
Lease a new 2026 Sportage LX front-wheel drive for $249 a month.
Diabetes isn't a death sentence, but it is absolutely a life sentence, and you have to figure out how you're going to keep your kid alive. So when you find somebody from the government that's on your side, and it happens to be Susan Collins at the same time, that was just magnificent. After the meeting in Portland for my wife and son, my wife came back. She was 10 feet tall. She'd felt seen, she felt heard, and she felt like we had a powerful advocate on our side. No, it was a big step towards healing.
Thank you, Senator Collins.
Please continue delivering for T1 families.
You are watching WFVX, Fox 22, Bangor.
Mark Wayne Mullen will lead the Department of Homeland Security following President Trump's firing of Kristi Noem. He was sworn in during a ceremony in the Oval Office with Attorney General Pam Bondi administering the oath. Mullen is entering the role during a critical time as the department faces a partial government shutdown. Fox's Anna Eliopoulos has more.
I do solemnly swear.
I do solemnly swear.
Mark Wayne Mullen sworn in as the Secretary of Homeland Security. The Oklahoma Republican taking his oath in the Oval Office 1 day after winning confirmation in the Senate.
I don't care if you're red or you're blue. At the end of the day, my job is to be Secretary of Homeland and to protect everybody the same.
He replaces Kristi Noem, who was ousted by President Trump after her leadership came under fire when 2 Americans were killed by ICE agents during the immigration crackdown in Minneapolis, and when it was revealed a border security commercial cost more than $200 million.
It's a great day for me because I have a lot of confidence in this gentleman.
Mullen takes over during a critical period. The department is nearing a 40-day shutdown. More than 100,000 DHS employees are working without pay, including TSA agents, the Coast Guard, and Secret Service.
They're working for free because of political politics.
Democrats voted against funding DHS unless changes are made to immigration enforcement agencies, but Republicans reportedly presented a deal.
Some of my Democratic colleagues and I have had productive meetings with the White House as we press for meaningful reforms to ICE. But they would be a lot more productive if the president didn't keep making new and unreasonable demands.
Senate Majority Leader John Thune says the Senate's 2-week April recess will be canceled if a deal can't get done. In New York, Anna Eliopoulos, Fox News.
President Trump again swearing in Mark Wayne Mullen as his new Homeland Security Secretary, and it comes as security lines at airports continue to grow amid that funding fight. Fox's Bill Malugin has those details.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Secretary.
DHS Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen sworn into his new role at the White House this afternoon.
Failure is not an option. And so thank you so much, Mr. President, for this opportunity. I won't let you down.
Mullen has taken the helm at an agency in turmoil, unfunded for almost 40 days now. Security lines remain hours long at several airports around the country. DHS reports more than 450 TSA employees have quit since the shutdown began. Nowhere were those lines worse today than in Houston, where colleague Brooke Taylor reports.
Here at Bush Airport in Houston, it has been a disaster. The waiting time has been about 4.5 hours, with lines stretching down multiple levels all the way down to the airport's basement.
But a deal on DHS funding could be on the horizon. Today, Senate Republicans made an offer to Democrats to fund all of DHS except ICE's deportation wing, known as ERO. But it wouldn't include the major ICE reforms Democrats have demanded. Some on both sides sound interested.
What's being discussed right now, which is we don't fund ICE ERO operations and we get some reforms to how ICE operates, that's appealing to me.
It's really in the hands of the Democrats. We're ready to move. We could get on it and we could do it today.
But others aren't as optimistic.
This does not have any reforms in ICE. We'll be sending them an offer back, and I can assure you it'll contain significant reform in it.
I understand that Senator Schumer is now asking for some additional concessions in our agreement to open up everything but ICE. We're not going to agree to that.
Ultimately, President Trump will have to approve any deal.
I guess they're getting fairly close, but I think any deal they make, I'm pretty much not happy with it.
In Washington, Bill Malugin, Fox News.
President Trump insists the U.S. and Iran are talking about ending their conflict, and he has received a significant gift from Iran related to the Strait of Hormuz. Iran's parliament speaker is still denying talks with the U.S., calling it fake news and vowing complete victory in the conflict. Fox's Rich Edson has the latest from the White House.
I think this thing's going to be settled very soon.
President Trump says Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner are negotiating with Iranian leaders to end the nearly 4-week conflict.
They're talking to us, and they're talking sense. And remember, it all starts with they cannot have a nuclear weapon.
Iran has always claimed its massive nuclear program was peaceful and that it had the right to enrich uranium to generate power, even as it had produced near weapons-grade uranium. The president says Iran has conceded that right and that Tehran even gave the United States a, quote, very big present worth a tremendous amount of money relating to the flow of oil in the Strait of Hormuz. The details are unclear. Iran has effectively closed the strait since the U.S.-Israeli attacks against it began. Top Iranian officials have claimed there have been no negotiations with the Trump administration. The Pentagon says it will keep the pressure on Iran until this fight is finished.
We negotiate with bombs, and so we're keeping our hand on that throttle.
And possibly more pressure. Fox News has learned that the 82nd Airborne Division has been given prepared to deploy orders, and that its commander and members of headquarters staff have been ordered to deploy to the Middle East as the administration weighs whether to send troops to the region for possible land operations. The Wall Street Journal reports U.S. allies in the Gulf are inching towards joining the fight against Iran. And reporters asked President Trump today to confirm a New York Times report that Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has been pushing him to continue this fight until the U.S. destroys Iran's hardline government.
He's a warrior. He's fighting with us, by the way. Saudi Arabia has been excellent.
The Trump administration has reportedly sent Iran a 15-point peace proposal, including many provisions that Iran has previously rejected. At the White House, Rich Edson, Fox News.
Runway 422 at LaGuardia Airport remains shut down as investigators comb through the wreckage, trying to find out how Sunday night's tragic crash happened. Fox's Caroline Elliott has the latest.
Stop, truck one. Stop. Stop, truck one. Stop.
NTSB investigators are searching for answers after 2 pilots were killed in a crash at LaGuardia Sunday night. Based on the evidence so far, NTSB believes the collision happened after multiple failures.
There are multiple layers of defense built in to prevent an accident. So when something goes wrong, that means many things went wrong.
Air traffic control audio shows the controller gave the fire truck the green light to pass as the plane was seconds away from landing.
We were dealing with an emergency earlier. I messed up.
Investigators say 2 air traffic controllers were working at the time, and it's unclear how their responsibilities were divided up.
The midnight shift, as a reminder, is one that we have many times at the NTSB raised concerns about with respect to fatigue.
The controller then frantically asked the truck to stop, but the crash happened just seconds later. Investigators believe a warning system could have prevented the crash, but the fire truck didn't have one.
That vehicle did not have a transponder, and it would have been helpful.
72 passengers and 4 crew members were on board at the time. Both pilots died, and a flight attendant was ejected 300 feet from the plane but miraculously survived. Other passengers described it as a surreal experience.
All of a sudden, it felt like we had just hit a brick wall.
It's hard to describe. I'm still in shock.
NTSB investigators are now interviewing both air traffic controllers and the firefighters involved. In New York, Caroline Elliott, Fox News.
Still to come on Fox 22 News at 10, our Jody Hersey was in Old Town to highlight how intramural sports are keeping everyone in the action. And in sports, Maine hockey fans received some good news on Tuesday. We'll be right back.
We're ready for baseball, and off we go.
Major League Baseball, all season long on Fox.
Hi, I'm Tony Hafford from TC Hafford Basement Systems, the all things basement-y company. Basement waterproofing, basement structural repair, humidity and mold control, and nasty crawl spaces too. Since 1991, over 15,000 Maine homeowners have trusted TC Hafford Basement Systems to fix their basements. Call TC Hafford Basement Systems today for all things basement-y.
Got old metal and junk cars? Turn that clutter into cash at Daddy and Daughters. We make recycling easy, fast, and fair. From Skowhegan to Dover Foxcroft, from Troy to Lee, you can trust our certified scales and friendly service, offering top prices for junk vehicles in Maine. Whether you drop off or we pick up, Daddy and Daughters covers Central and Eastern Maine. Come see us at one of our 4 locations and watch your scrap pay off. Daddy and Daughters, turn scrap into cash.
Jonathan Bush. He's a battle-tested trailblazer who's created over 900 jobs in Maine.
The jobs that Jonathan brought to Belfast were really transformative for so many families.
Now Bush wants to shake up Augusta. He'll slash wasteful spending and cut property and income taxes. A $1 billion tax cut for hardworking Mainers.
Jonathan is a big thinker with big ideas, but he actually makes them happen.
I'm Jonathan Bush. I look forward to earning your vote.
At the County Federal Credit Union, we value the trust our members place in us to act in their best interest. Whether it's providing low rates on consumer loans or raising money to end hunger, we work hard to serve our members and the communities in which they live. We are excited to bring the meaningful and impactful work we do to all Mainers as we continue to grow. Wherever you are in life's journey, count on the county to be your financial partner.
Cleanup efforts are ramping up in Hawaii after the island's most serious flooding in more than 20 years. Fox Weather's Robert Ray has a look at the damage.
Thousands of people across Hawaii combing through piles of mud after the island's most devastating floods in more than 2 decades. Officials here estimate damages could top $1 billion. National Guard troops were seen wading through knee-high water to help with cleanup efforts. And Governor Josh Green says he's sending in more to assist.
There's a lot of devastation here, so my job is to now get all the resources we can.
For parts of the island, the debris is never ending. In one community, dozens of strangers showed up to help remove feet of mud from homes.
A lot of them, they're just coming off the street and offering help, dropping off wheelbarrows and shovels.
As crews continue to assess the damage, more rain led to another round of flooding on Oahu on Monday. North of Honolulu, officials are calling for improvements to a 120-year-old dam, which was at risk of failing last week.
We need Army Corps to be looking at the dam structures and, flood mitigation for the future.
At the height of the flooding, more than 5,500 people were placed under evacuation orders. As many return home, they're now trying to make sense of this tragedy.
During the floods, we saw how self-reliant we needed to be, right? It was all left on us. We had to go get people, we had to feed people, we have to figure it out on ourselves.
Hawaii's governor says he's been in touch with the White House because they want to secure federal emergency funding as soon as possible. In Maui, Robert Ray, Fox Weather.
Well, for the first time in more than half a century, Americans are headed back to the moon. NASA's Artemis II mission is set to launch next Wednesday, sending 4 astronauts on a 10-day journey around the moon and back as America takes its first steps in the 21st century space race. Fox's Jonathan Seri reports.
All systems go for NASA's next mission to the moon. Artemis II is set to blast off next week from Kennedy Space Center.
NASA once changed everything, and we're going to do it again.
4 astronauts will slingshot around the moon in an Orion spacecraft, testing the capability of the rocket ahead of future missions. And while they won't land on the lunar surface, they could land in the history books.
We'll get to observe the far side of the moon and hopefully break the record, the Apollo record, for the farthest any human has ever flown from Earth.
Artemis IV, set for 2028, could put astronauts back on the moon for the first time in decades.
The first crewed landing since 1972.
But unlike the Cold War space race, this time the U.S. faces another major competitor.
There's no doubt China is going forward to the moon as well. We're never going to out-centrally plan China, but what we can do is we can out-entrepreneur, we can out-innovate.
The agency's ultimate goal is to build a full-fledged nuclear-powered lunar base.
That is going to include habitation modules and everything we need to keep the crews alive and enable them to do groundbreaking science and exploration on the surface of the moon.
That could enable all kinds of research, including new sources of energy for use here on Earth, like helium-3.
You could power the entire city of Houston with helium-3 that fills a Coke can, and there's no carbon emissions and there's no nuclear waste.
NASA hopes a sustained lunar presence will help pave the way for a future mission to Mars. In Atlanta, Jonathan Seri, Fox News.
A local nonprofit, Feeding San Diego, is stepping up to help TSA agents during the partial government shutdown. Agents have been affected once again, just months after the nation's longest government shutdown last fall. Fox's Kasia Gregorsich has more.
Thank you so much.
We're feeding 155,000 households in May. Now we're upwards of 220,000 a month.
In less than a year, local nonprofit Feeding San Diego is seeing the need for food assistance skyrocket. While we are seeing lines at the airports across the nation due to the partial government shutdown affecting the Department of Homeland Security, TSA agents are lining up for boxes like this after going more than a month without pay.
We'll typically bring between 3 to 4 different types of fresh produce.
In addition to fresh produce, Feeding San Diego provides dry goods that create the main portion of a meal plus protein. After a request from TSA and the Airport Authority, the organization held a distribution event for 400 employees last week and is getting ready to hold another this week. They also stepped up during the last government shutdown last fall, in addition to those they serve year-round.
The vast majority of them have jobs. They just can't afford that cost differential between what it costs to live in San Diego as compared with food, and you're watching an escalation in the cost of food.
The chief steward for the San Diego chapter of the union that TSA agents belong to, the American Federation of Government Employees, sent us this statement. AFGE 1260 has been working hard to support its members. We have provided over $5,000 in gas cards and Costco food cards. Additionally, we have collaborated with Partnership for a Better San Diego to establish food pantries for the officers. While they continue to support the membership, they wish for a timely conclusion to the shutdown.
We're constantly looking for the private donors to continue to support Feeding San Diego's efforts as more people fall out of that federal and state network and land in ours.
United Airlines says it may need to increase ticket prices in response to the elevated cost of jet fuel. Fox Business Network's David Asman has a look at that story and more in today's Fox Means Business.
Markets finished lower for your Tuesday. All 3 major indices red across the board. The Nasdaq was the worst performer, closing nearly 1% lower. Well, Wi-Fi router maker Netgear surging after the Federal Communications Commission banned all imports of consumer routers made abroad, saying they pose national security risks. The ban was introduced due to the high percentage of routers in the U.S. made by China, estimated to be at least 60%. United Airlines is warning that ticket prices may have to increase by 20% if jet fuel prices remain elevated for longer. The airline expects some consumer pushback and fewer people to travel if ticket prices continue to rise. United has already reduced 5% of its capacity on routes that are not profitable and don't cover higher fuel prices. And FedEx is partnering with last-mile delivery company OneRail to bring same-day delivery to all of its customers. The pricing for this delivery option will depend on how individual retailers choose to price same-day shipping within their own checkouts. The announcement comes just after Amazon said it was launching ultra-fast shipping of 1 to 3 hours. That's business. I'm David Asman.
Folks, stay with us. Your full 5-day forecast is just ahead.
Many of us stayed dry out there for today, and we will for the daytime hours tomorrow, but tomorrow night we got more chances for rain and snow crossing through the Bangor region. Which type of precipitation are we going to see most of? Will it be rain or snow? We'll have those answers coming right up.
Paramount Paving, Maine's go-to for all your paving and seal coating. Paramount Paving offers commercial and residential paving and seal coating services throughout eastern and central Maine. Give us a call for a free estimate today. Paramount Paving. When it comes to paving, we are Paramount.
See the USA in your Chevrolet.
The best way to see the USA starts in a Chevy SUV. With room for the whole family. Added peace of mind for every mile. And range to take you farther.
Get out there and see the USA, because right now, well-qualified buyers can get 3.9% financing for 60 months on all 2026 Equinox models. Plus, no monthly payments for 90 days.
Visit your Maine Chevy dealers.
Here at Twin City Tire and Service, you will be working with industry professionals. We have ASE certified master technicians and certified tire and lube technicians. If we need your vehicle for a duration of time, we offer a complimentary shuttle service and can even offer a loaner vehicle. Being a client at Twin City Tire and Service means that we will treat you right. This includes a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on mechanical repairs. We also provide you with 1 year of complimentary roadside assistance. Come see us today at Twin City Tire and Service in Brewer.
Welcome to outdoor living. Welcome to Granville Stone and Hearth. Goodness knows we've been cooped up long enough. Make plans now to enjoy the outside of your home too. Come to Granville and see, touch, and imagine what you can do in your backyard. Light a path, light a fire, grill a meal, sit a bit. It's all in stock. There's a staycation right outside your door with expert help from Granville, one of the largest outdoor living suppliers in Maine. Granville Stone and Hearth, Main Road, Holden.
Paramount Paving, Maine's go-to for all your paving and seal coating. Paramount Paving offers commercial and residential paving and seal coating services throughout eastern and central Maine. Give us a call for a free estimate today. Paramount Paving. When it comes to paving, we are Paramount.
The 2026 iHeartRadio Music Awards, hosted by Ludacris.
What's going on, everybody?
Live this Thursday on Fox.
Thank you very much. A little bit warmer out there for today. Still in the 30s, though, here in Bangor. Upper 30s for us. Same for Bar Harbor. Even all the way up into Holton and Presque Isle this afternoon. Cool kids in town were Greenville right at freezing for today, but we did see a few low to mid 40s down near Portland and Sanford for today. Sanford at 43 this afternoon. For tonight, we'll see lows fall into the mid to upper 20s here in the Bangor region. That's same for up north as well. While we can stay right around freezing along our coastline down into Portland for tonight. And heading into tomorrow, we're going to see some sunshine, especially early on. That should warm us into the low 40s here in Bangor. Looking like this model wants to keep us in the upper 30s, but if you're watching the 6 o'clock show, you know it had us at 45 earlier, so it can't decide what it wants. I'm deciding low 40s with the sunshine for tomorrow. As you see further north, definitely going to be a bit cooler for tomorrow with some highs only right around 30 degrees. So average highs this time of year at 43 will be right around that for tomorrow and a little bit above for your Thursday, but that doesn't come with sunshine. That comes with clouds and a few showers in the region. We'll have a cold front come throughout your Friday, and you'll feel the effects Saturday. We're going to see highs only in the mid to upper 20s then, but don't worry, temperatures warm right back up into next week. By Monday and Tuesday, we'll see our highs right back near average in the mid 40s. So out there now, the winds are beginning to lighten up. We'll see a little bit of a breeze early on for the morning because that cold front is passing through. So we can see some gusts for a short moment, right around 25 to 30 miles per hour during the 7 to 8 a.m. hour. It'll die down for the afternoon momentarily, but then we got another system on the way, right? So that's going to bring a little bit more wind as well heading into tomorrow night, bringing those gusts back to 25 to 30 miles per hour. So throughout tonight, those winds are going to stay light, maybe a few flurries developing just east of town into the Machias area, and then that cold front will pass through and it looks to stay dry. So we shouldn't see any more snow after that. Plenty of sunshine into tomorrow afternoon, right? So that's what's going to help us warm up into the low 40s for tomorrow, but more clouds for tomorrow night with chances for rain and snow. That snow looks to stay just north of town. So we're going to see mainly rain with this here in Bangor, but a little bit of snow can be mixed in as well for areas just north of town, looking at 1 to 2 inches possible of snow. While we will take a break during Thursday afternoon, still going to see some lingering showers, but it'll be kind of on and off. We'll have a cold front come through Thursday night, and that will bring another good chance for some showers to the Bangor area. So for tonight, lows in the mid-20s with some partly cloudy skies. A few flurries cannot be ruled out, or some light snow showers near the Machias area. Otherwise, winds are going to stay light for tonight from the southwest, and for tomorrow, that sunshine is going to warm us into the low 40s, and the breeze from the west will help out as well, gusting near 20 miles per hour at times. So taking a look at our extended forecast, you can see we continue to warm up into your Thursday, but again, that comes with clouds and showers rather than sunshine. You'll see 48 then, a little bit cooler for your Friday in the upper 30s, and much cooler Saturday. Highs then looking to fall down into the mid to upper 20s, but we'll rebound pretty quickly as you see by Sunday, partly cloudy skies and highs back in the mid 30s. Beth?
Chase, thank you so much. Folks, don't go anywhere. We have sports next.
At Pat's Pizza in Hamden, every day is delicious. Tuesday, pasta specials and cheesy breadsticks. Wednesday, large one-topping pizza, just $9.50. Thursday, hoagies and fries. Fridays, fish and fries. And Saturday, pizza and a fountain soda. Dine in, only $9.
Ready to create your backyard oasis? Alexander's Professional Landscaping will work with you to create your perfect outdoor space. Work one-on-one with our landscape designer to create a unique garden to fit your family's personal aesthetics and lifestyle. Have our pros install your new lawn, garden, or patio. Schedule a consultation today by calling 573-4497. Alexander's Professional Landscaping, the way landscaping should be.
Diabetes isn't a death sentence, but it is absolutely a life sentence, and you have to figure out how you're going to keep your kid alive. So when you find somebody from the government that's on your side, and it happens to be Susan Collins at the same time, that was just magnificent. After the meeting in Portland for my wife and son, my wife came back. She was 10 feet tall. She'd felt seen, she felt heard, and she felt like we had a powerful advocate on our side. No, it was a big step towards healing. Thank you, Senator Collins. Please continue delivering for T1 families.
At Pat's Pizza in Hamden, every day is delicious. Tuesday, pasta specials and cheesy breadsticks. Wednesday, large one-topping pizza, just $9.50. Thursday, hoagies and fries. Fridays, fish and fries. And Saturday, pizza and a fountain soda. Dine in, only $9.
Street football is back. The UFL kickoff begins Friday and continues Saturday on Fox.
Again, folks, we'll start tonight by checking in with Husson softball, who are on a tear to open their 2026 season. The Eagles hold an unprecedented 13-1 record through their first 14 games thus far and are nationally ranked 22nd in the country. The team says that the work they've put in during the offseason, as well as their trust in each other in every game and practice, has helped them to get to this point, but they are treating their national ranking as nothing more than a visual.
I feel like the team as a whole has really good camaraderie, and a lot of our coaches have been able to build off of what we've needed to work on.
Being nationally ranked doesn't win you games, so we have to play hard. It actually puts a bigger target on their backs, so they're going to have to do even better than they did before.
After playing some games down south, the Eagles are just a few short weeks away from playing in-conference opponents. They're confident that their early success will continue to carry them forward through North Atlantic Conference play and the rest of the season, as long as they continue to play their game.
I think just seeing what we did in Florida is a good confidence boost to what we're going to do in the NAC, but we still take it game by game and just prepare for the next opponent.
Yeah, we take one game at a time, and we take nothing for granted. We don't look too far in advance to our games. We take the very next opponent, and that's our game.
Husson softball is always a wagon, isn't it? We'll go to the ice now, where the Maine men's hockey team, who despite falling short of their ultimate goal this season, has just received good news regarding their roster next season, as goaltender Alvin Boya is set to return for his senior year. In his standout 2024 season, Boya allowed just 1.82 goals per game, which ranks second all-time in program history. He also made 27 total saves in the Black Bears Hockey East Championship game win, which earned him the William Flynn Most Valuable Player Award, a place on the all-tournament team, and a nod for an All-American second team. After receiving several pro offers, he decided to return to Maine in 2025, where he faced some adversity in an up-and-down year, splitting time in the net with freshman Mathis Rousseau. Following Maine's loss to Boston College in this year's Hockey East tournament, Boya has decided he will return. Heading to Florida now, where the Boston Red Sox played their last spring training game before shipping off to Cincinnati to play the Reds in their opening season game Thursday afternoon. The Sox fell to the Twins 15-6 to close out the preseason. Newly signed starting pitcher Ranger Suarez got rocked, allowing 8 earned runs over 4 1/3 innings. Not exactly the feel-good outing you're looking for heading into opening day. Trevor Story's bat stayed hot, though. He went 1 for 3 with 2 RBI. He completed Grapefruit League play with a batting average above 4. The silver lining in this blowout for Mainers, Twins pitcher and former Black Bear Cody Lawyerson made an appearance. He pitched an inning, striking out a batter and giving up a single, as the Moscow, Maine native has clinched a spot on the Twins' opening day roster. Congratulations to Lawyerson. Let's go to the TD Garden now, where the big news dropped on Monday night as the Boston Bruins announced they've signed their 2025 first-round pick and Boston College standout James Hagan to an amateur tryout contract with the Boston Bruins. An ATO contract basically means Hagans will begin in Providence with the AHL team and get some reps down there. And if all goes well, he will sign his entry-level contract and help the Bruins with a playoff push down the stretch without burning a year off his contract immediately. Hagans, who's 19 years old, had 34 goals in 2 seasons with the Boston College Eagles, including 23 this past year. The move comes 3 to 4 days after the Eagles fell in the hockey semifinals. The top prospect was in Providence today for his first practice. Here's what he had to say about the move and how he can make a case to help the Bruins out down the stretch.
I love it. It's there's a saying, nothing's given, everything's earned. So it's just knowing that you have to earn a spot wherever you go. So it's going out there, it's working your hardest, it's trying to show everything you've worked for. Hopefully it pays off.
Let's go over to the Garden where the Bruins played host to those Toronto Maple Leafs. We'll check in with them. We pick it up late in the second. Tied 1-1. Max Domi shows off the silky mitts, puts the Leafs up 2-1. Heading into the second intermission with that beautiful finish. To the third we go. Leafs get a fortunate bounce off a loose stick. They're going to cycle it around until William Nylander lets one rip. The rebound, though, comes right back to him. He buries it to make it 3-1 Toronto. Bruins are looking to get back in it in the O-zone on the power play. McAvoy throws it to the middle, finds Zacha, who feeds Pasta. His shot eventually trickles in, so the Bruins make it 3-2. But their comeback would fall short. They're looking to equalize late in the third. Puck gets out of the zone. Leafs win the race to it, and they'd cash in on the empty net to secure a 4-2 win. Bruins couldn't catch a break tonight. That's all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
Space for just in case. Lease a new 2026 Sportage LX front-wheel drive for $249 a month.
When Maine winter bites, nothing matters more than keeping your family warm. The solution is simple, a high-efficiency heat pump installed by Valley Home Services. It's the quiet, reliable warmth you need all season long. At Valley Home, we're your elite Fujitsu dealer, ensuring expert installation that delivers consistent comfort and maximizes your energy savings. And we make it easy to switch to efficiency heating and qualify for those valuable Efficiency Maine rebates. Stay perfectly warm without the high cost. For a warm, worry-free winter, trust the local experts. Valley Home Services. Winter warmth is waiting. Call us today.
Carpets looking tired, stained, or just plain dirty? It's time to call the pros. At C&R Carpet Cleaning, we use deep steam technology to remove dirt, odors, pet hair, and allergens fast. Fresh, clean carpets, healthier home. That's the C&R promise. Visit our Facebook page for a free estimate or call us today, 631-7380. Step into clean with C&R Carpet Cleaning.
From the heart of Maine, where rugged beauty meets timeless craftsmanship, Richard Henderson & Sons Masonry, taming the outdoors through groundwork, retaining walls and seawalls, building custom fireplaces that become the centerpiece of your home, crafting granite steps and patios that invite you outdoors, designing hardscapes that turn yards into living spaces, built to last, crafted for life. Richard Henderson & Sons Masonry, quality in every stone.
Sunday. The biblical 3-week event continues with the next epic story of the Bible's most legendary women.
I was chosen to lead by God. You won't be the one to judge me in the end.
The Faithful Women of the Bible continues this Sunday on Fox. Space for just in case. Lease a new 2026 Sportage LX front-wheel drive for $249 a month.
Hello, New Garden and a hungry pack battle for a win as the road to Indy continues at Barber. Sunday at 1 Eastern on Fox. Welcome to the fastest racing on earth.
The next chapter in the Yellowstone story shares a first look, and a music icon is ready to return to the stage. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin has all of the latest in today's Hollywood Nation.
Yellowstone fans, saddle up. Celine readies her comeback, and Gosling makes a record-breaking landing in the Hollywood nation.
I'm not an astronaut.
The Ryan Gosling-led sci-fi adventure Project Hail Mary broke records its opening weekend in theaters. It marked the biggest opening weekend of the year, earning $80.5 million domestically and $140.9 million globally. And it's Amazon MGM's biggest debut ever. Celine Dion is set to return to the stage, according to Variety, as first reported by La Presse. The music icon will make her concert comeback in Paris this fall, with 2 concerts a week starting in September. Dion was diagnosed with stiff person syndrome and shared her health journey in the 2024 documentary I Am Celine Dion.
A legacy is a beautiful thing, but only if it survives.
Today's first looks ride to Dutton Ranch. The Yellowstone spinoff follows Beth and Rip as they fight to build a future in Texas, colliding with a ruthless rival ranch. Cole Hauser and Kelly Riley are joined by Ed Harris and Annette Bening in the series. The Paramount Plus original also airs on the Paramount Network with a 2-episode premiere May 15th.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Plus, there's a new trailer and featurette for the live-action reimagining of Moana. The latter goes behind the scenes of the making of the movie and features commentary from the stars, including Dwayne Johnson. Moana's Adventure sets sail in theaters July 10th. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
It can be challenging during March Madness to create the perfect bracket, but one still stands on the women's side going into this weekend. With the Sweet 16 starting Friday for women's college basketball, there was one perfect bracket left as of Monday night for the women's NCAA tournament among the millions of entries in the ESPN Bracket Challenge and in the contest tracked on the NCAA's official website. The one perfect bracket for the women has Texas defeating UConn in the final. There is no known verified perfect bracket that has ever existed for the entire NCAA women's basketball tournament. Meanwhile, there were no perfect brackets remaining on the men's side. Well, for athletes, March can often be an unpredictable month while they wait for the spring sports season to begin. But as Jody Hersey found out, educators and staff at Old Town High School have found a fun way to fill the time thanks to co-ed intramural sports.
On the hardwood at Old Town High School, students have traded in basketballs for volleyballs.
It really is just a way for kids to do something, stay active between winter and spring seasons.
Co-ed intramural volleyball is an annual event at the school every March. This year, there were so many students interested in playing, PE teacher Lucas Grinnell was able to field 12 teams.
I have senior captains that draft their teams. So we have a big list of kids that they go through and they take a lunch and we draft their teams. So they pick them all and they get them together.
Senior Taylor Madden has played all 4 years, teaming up with students from other grades.
It's just fun to be able to connect with different grades, and we always just have so much fun. It's never even about the score, it's just about having fun with your friends.
Michael Carroll's team is so invested, they even had their own team t-shirts made.
And this year we figured out that we probably need a team name because nobody else had a team name last year. We did, we won, so we figured might as well carry that energy over.
All the students involved admit they're looking to knock off the top team in the competition, which is made up of staff and administrators from Old Town High School.
It gets teachers interacting with kids in a different setting, other than the classroom. They're here in the gym, they're having fun. So not to brag, but they're atop the leaderboard right now.
Volleying for points, for fun, and for bragging rights.
Everyone wants to play, everyone just wants to be included, and everyone does, so it's perfect.
In Old Town, I'm Jody Hersey for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Guess we'll have to wait and see who comes out on top there. Alrighty, folks, that is going to do it for us. From everyone here at Fox 22 News, take care and have a great rest of your night. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.
For more local news coverage, switch over to our sister station ABC7 right now for ABC7 News at 11.
Elizabeth Banks and stand-up comedian Jimmy O. Yang on a new Jimmy Kimmel Live later tonight.
He was supposed to be here 1 week. He attracts trouble. Trouble attracts him.
Roll over, show me your wrist. Are you serious?
My new client's on the run from the Chinese triad. Tell me everything.
I was doing tax work with a partner in San Francisco. One of our clients was accusing us of stealing $1 million.
Did you?
Your client's old friend from San Francisco was gunned down in his doorway.
What?
Someone brought the triad to town.
This is ABC7 News at 11.